Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of the Enemy Within campaign for the A-10C2 in DCS World. And this has been by far the hardest mission in the campaign, and probably the hardest mission I've ever done in DCS. It took me multiple tries to get this done, but managed it in the end. So what was this horrible mission? Well, the briefing starts off pretty simple. We have located the last remaining CLA leader, and he is currently in a villa in the mountains. Now that seems simple enough. We just take £2,000 bomb, drop it on the villa, jobs are good, and go home for beers. But what makes this mission hard is the villa is in South Ossetia, and South Ossetia is one of the regions that was pseudo-annexed by Russia in the 2008 war, along with Abkhazia. And so although the regions are technically independent, there are Russian garrisons there. And with Russian garrisons come Russian SAM sites. So the area is littered with SA-8 and SA-11 sites who will pick off anything going in at high level. So the plan is for a special forces team to take out one of the sites guarding the entrance to a valley system, and then my plane fakes a mayday call and pretends to go down, where really I go through the mountain range, through the valleys at knots of the earth flying, in order to drop 6 high-drag 500-pound bombs on the villa, then try and turn around without getting shot down, do a rocket pass, and then GTFO. And as if the area being littered with Russian SAMs who will happily shoot down anything flying above treetop height, if that wasn't enough, well, the weather is also awful, so visibility is near zero. So you perhaps get an idea of why this took me so many attempts. But anyway, let's jump into where we're just about to start our death run.
And Overlord, Dodge 3-1, in position, ready to begin.
Overlord to all actors, stand by.
And Overlord to all actors was the go code for the Special Ops team, so I head in since they're only 1 minute out and we can see them firing their flares. The code is 3 white flares, 1 green flare is missions go, red flare instead is mission abort. And there we go, we've got our green flare just briefly spotted. I'm meant to be sending out a distress signal, but I'm on the wrong channel, so I have to readjust. Didn't miss anything because it actually gets cut off due to a bug.
Overlord, Roger, say status.
Be advised, double engine flame out. Aircraft's becoming uncontrollable. I'm passing 3,000 feet. I'm gonna have to eject.
Dodge 3-1, eject, break. Overlord to all actors, knock it off.
Altitude.
Dodge 1-2, knock it off.
So while they all acknowledge that they're stopping their fictitious training program, I dive to the deck.
Ford 1-1, knock it off. Ford 1-2, knock it off. Ford 2-1, knock it off.
Pull up.
Ford 2-2, knock it off.
And just up ahead is an area that we know that a SA-11 battery will have line of sight to me. So I'm trying to keep as low as possible.
7317, Dodge 01 and 02.
Below the height of the trees on my right hand side.
Anchor point, 2 miles to the north.
Even so, I start getting rocked by the battery, so I activate my jammer and just start spewing out chaff behind me.
Overlord, Dodge 1-1, Roger, anchoring 2 miles north from grid.
And thankfully managed to get far enough that they lose the luck.
Dodge 2-1 copies. Anchor south of grid, Lima, November 7317 at Angels 5.
I'm coming up to the prepare point, which is the point immediately before the attack run. Selected my bombs, I've opted for CCIP release here. I did first try CCRP, but with the incredibly high wind, it was really awkward to keep the plane lined up, especially when taking ground fire, so I ended up with CCIP, and I've just got all the bombs set to ripple release at 50 feet separation. Now I give it a guns burst going in because I know that there is anti-air in the area that I tried to suppress. Actually managed to get it there. I didn't notice at the time. And dive in, begin dropping and immediately pull up to avoid the splash damage. And get some nice hits there. Multiple AK infantry destroyed. Z-23 was destroyed. Now the tricky part is the valley here just runs out. The left and the right are two dead ends, and so we have to turn around. And I ended up opting for an up and over turnaround here, rather than trying to turn in the very, very sharp canyon. This is really pushing the plane to its stall limit, as you can hear with the warning alarm. Go back in. During that I selected my rockets, just set to fire half the rockets per burst. So there goes the first half. See a building as I'm going in. So fire again, and then just strafe the entire area with my gun before trying to get out of there as fast as possible. And to actually destroy the building and an APC at the end there. Now, we're still not out of the woods because the SAM set up ahead now very much knows what we've done and knows to be looking for us. And I'm completely out of weapons now. I do still have 220 chaff rounds, and I've got the jammer. But I'm still feeling very nervous at this point. So remember, this was my first run that I was actually coming away from this with 2 working engines.
Pull up.
And so was really desperate to stay alive here, keeping as low as I possibly can. Bit hard because the low visibility was making it hard to see the trees. I do get a little opening in the trees here, so I duck down into that little riverside clearing. Just as I start to relax, though, I start getting locked from behind. So again, immediately go into jamming, start spewing out chaff again. But now I have to climb over this hill, and they start firing missiles. So look behind, but there's really no point. There's no way I can see the missile with all of the white snow that's going around. Really, it's just a race of whether I can get down this other side of the mountain before the missiles hit me. And thankfully I managed that. So now I'm in a blind spot from the launcher, so even though my alarms are still going crazy, I do breathe a sigh of relief at this point. Missiles should just slam into the mountain. Now we're back over the insertion point where the Special Ops team went in. And so right now, quite happy, thinking everything's fine, and then I get another missile warning. And that just makes me poop myself. I don't know what missile it is. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a cheeky little Stinger type launcher back there, and so spew out chaff and flares. But thankfully nothing seems to hit me. I'm not sure if that was a real launch or if the warning detector was detecting one of the previous missiles that had just gone up over the hill.
Overlord to all actors. Miller time, acknowledge.
Overlord, Dodge 1-1, roger. Dodge 2-1, roger. Miller time, RTB.
So then we come in for this, which is one of the most awkward landings that I've ever had to do. Can see just the amount of crabbing I'm having to do to keep on track with this crosswind. But all in all, that was a really, really fun little mission. We got 8 ground kills in the end, including one of the named infantrymen was actually named as our target, so he was actually killed in the first pass. Killed 5 total infantry, 1 A-10C, 1 ZU-23, and then finally just blew up the armed house that the guy's villa was. So really fun mission, really stressful. As I said, I failed that 4 times previously. First time the bombs didn't drop, and then I flew into a cliff. That was trying to use CCRP and failing. Second time I just got my wing ripped off by the ZU-23. Third attempt, I actually managed it, did the bombing run, did the rocket run, but took so much damage to my engines that one failed completely and the other was half out. And so I was unable to get over the mountain towards the end when that SA-11 site attacks. And then the final time was me getting too low on my CCIP diving pass, and so getting caught up in my own explosions, blew a wing off that way. So yeah, lots of fun, and now that is the CLA leadership destroyed, and so the only thing left is to take out the Georgian insider who's been feeding the CLA information the whole time. But for that, we'll need to come back in our final mission, and we'll do that next week. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, do consider leaving a like and or subscribing. They really do help the channel out. And otherwise, I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, hope you all are kind to each other and one another. Cheers!